What am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
The Little Prince is about
this little girl that meets an old aviator, like a pilot, and he tells her this story about the little prince.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Little Prince is directed by Mark Osborne. The cast is actually pretty good. So we have James Franco as the fox, Jeff Bridges as the pilot.
Rachel McAdams as the mother, and Mackenzie Foy as the little girl. Marion Cotillard
as the Rose. And we have Paul Rudd as the prince himself, actually.
This movie is very interesting because it combines two types of animation. Your now traditional, the modern 3D style, and the interesting one that is paper stop motion. So all the scenes involving the little prince are done in a paper stop motion technique, which is really cool to see, and it's a nice change from our usual 3D animation. This movie is based on an old book, a novel by Antoine Saint-Exupéry. I actually didn't make the connection when I first heard about this movie. I was like, well, it sounds familiar, but I don't know where I've heard about it. But yeah, it's a book adaptation, and I think it's a really good one.
This movie actually takes on serious problems.
You will watch this movie and you will never look at the world the same again. It changes your life.
This movie actually, to me, it felt like a real movie, not an animated movie.
This movie takes on themes like childhood, creativity, growing up, conforming to a system and stuff like that. If you're into the breaking the system type movies, then this is definitely a watch for you.
This made me, personally, just made me cry. There was some moments here and there, and I was just like, this is us. This is the world right now. This is what's the problem.
It really allows for some self-reflection on individual people as well as on the society as a whole, and I really value that in movies.
I can't express myself. That's how good it is. Yeah. And I would watch it again over and over again. I would. It takes creativity to a whole nother level. It takes storytelling to a whole nother level, because in the movie they are telling a story, but it's not about whoever's telling the story or the format of the story or how it's being told. It's the audience that takes that story and goes into their imagination
and connects it to the real world and makes it come alive outside of the screen. It was like a double layer. She was hearing the story and she was making connections and changes to her own life, and now we're looking at her hearing the story, and we should be making connections and changes to our lives. We're not sure if it's going to be nominated for animated film
or foreign, because it did come out in English.
Both,
but
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just. But then the French and soundtrack. But I just wanted to win an Oscar. That's. What are you doing? I just want to see this movie just be nominated and just win the Oscar and just destroy Disney. That's all I just want to see. That's it.
This movie has a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. So if we were to rate this out of 10
usually,
I'd give it a 9.1.
I feel like it should be a 9.3. It really is a 9.3, because it kind of reflects everything. It just makes you think. It
does. It does what movies are supposed to do. They tell a story which is existing and living on its own, but also connects and relates back to the viewer and makes them question their life and makes them change their decisions.
You're gonna love it. That's it.
Yeah, it's a great animated film. Sometimes I even forgot it's animated. I don't think people watch it as much as it deserves to be watched. So if you haven't already, check it out. and tell us in the comments below what you think.
Watch it and tell us, is it worth the time? Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. It has come to a surprise for us that they do not have any names.